who he's called you to be, you will always have a Samuel. You need someone who understands where you're coming from, but also someone who understands who you must become. Which means that you're going to have to be willing to risk being seen. It's always so much easier when we have friendships that exist in silos. I've got one group of friends who understand where I came from. And I've got another group of friends who understand my potential. But I'm at my best when I'm in an environment with people who understand that where I've come from is not where I can stay. And where I am, I must keep pressing forward because there's still something that God wants to do in me. And so if we are not careful, we will find ourselves comfortable in friendships that celebrate our mediocrity, but prevent us from growing into God's next dimension. I don't know about you, but I need friendships that speak to my anointing. I don't know about you, but I need relationships that speak to my anointing. My husband, I love him so much. Not only do we get to cuddle and watch movies and do life together, what I love more than anything is that he challenges my anointing, that he challenges me to rise to the call that God has placed over my life. And until you have relationships that are a reflection of how God sees you, then you will never be able to really gauge how well you're doing, because people will applaud you for doing what God is just shrugging at. I didn't come to break up any friendships. I just want you to be conscious.
Hello, and welcome back to another star-studded episode of the Chatterbox with yours truly, King Jacob. And I hope everybody had a terrific Tuesday. It's good to be on this side of the dirt, grateful for all the many blessings that, we are receiving. So, with none other, I have another star-studded guest, oh my, the resume is, man, impeccable, man. She's done so much. So, without further ado, I'll let her introduce herself to the audience.
Hey, thank you for having me, number one. My name is Arischa Conner, and I am an actress and an audiobook narrator. And I always like to say I'm a dreamer, and I'm glad to be here with you this evening.
Okay, Miss Conner. So, when people ask you who you are, what is the answer like?
What is the answer like?
Yes.
I, I'm a professional woman who continues to dream and continues to strive to be the best that I can every day. And yeah, that's who I am.
Okay. So, from when you was younger, did you ever dream that you would be doing what you're doing now?
When I was younger, I think I used to sing a lot. That was my thing. Like I remember when I first heard Stacey Lattisaw sing "Let Me Be Your Angel," I was like, "Ooh, I want to do that." And so, growing up, my dream had always been to be a singer. I just wanted to be a singer. I wanted to go to school and study music and just be surrounded by it. I'm still a music lover to this day. I love all types of music, and acting was never something that was in my purview when I was younger. It's just something that I started to do when I got older. I started. I think I did a play when I was in college, but I never thought about having a career as an actor. I always thought I was going to be a singer, but then life happens, and I ended up being a teacher. I was in education for over 20 years, and then one day I was in a local play here in my city, and it was called Smoky Joe's Cafe, and we had sold out shows every night, and it gave me a feeling that was so euphoric, and I was like, I think this is something I want to do. So I began to just pursue that and find out everything I could about it, and yeah, so and that I'm still doing that today.
Okay. So, you wanted to be a singer.
Hmm.
You wanted to go to school for music, and what kind of strayed you away from the singing? And I can say I feel like it's never too late for you to put out a project just to really see how it could flow and just to see what could come of it.
Oh,
So
that's still that's one of my goals. I will. My love is I love jazz and I love like the old school R&B. I like new music now, but there's something about that old school R&B with all the bass and the keys. I really like that. But no, one of my goals now is to definitely do a jazz centric CD. Probably a collection of some of my favorite jazz standards. So I haven't put it that far on the back burner because I used to sing with the band. I sang with the band for like 13 years, traveling up and down the East Coast, and I've been around the world singing. But when I was just in this play, the play that I was in, Smoky Joe's Cafe, is a musical. It just kind of it changed the trajectory of my where I was going. And so it just switched over to acting, but singing is still there. I never let go of that. It's still there.
okay. So tell me about the city you from and your childhood and how you grew up that has you so musically inclined, that has you in this creative space, and also what stemmed you to become an educator.
Um, Growing up, I just liked music. My dad used to play music all the time. My father raised my sister and I. He was a single father. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. He's a dentist. And he was going to Harry Medical College at the time, and just I think music was just always a part of my life. I remember we used to go to Bible study, and the bus would come and pick us up, and then when we get on the bus, we'd sing all these Bible songs all the time, and ride in the school in the morning. And they don't do this anymore on the school buses, but our bus driver used to play music all the time. So music just became something that I just loved. And like I said, it was just all types of music. So I grew up. We left in Nashville, of course. We were in Nashville, Tennessee, which is the heart of country music. But left Nashville and moved back to South Carolina, like when I was in the third grade, and I just always loved music. It's just always been a part of me. Um, I remember I was singing, and I was in a pageant, the Hal Jackson International Talented Teen Pageant. I don't know if they still do those. They might still do them, but Hal Jackson was a legend in New York, and he started this talented teen pageant. But I won the pageant singing "Be a Lion" from The Wiz, which is one of my favorites, all time favorites, and represented the state of South Carolina and New York at the Apollo Theater. So singing has always been there. It's always been a part of me. There's no one in my family that is musical. Everybody in my family is more analytical. Like my dad's a dentist. My brothers, one is a dentist, one is a lawyer. They're more analytical. The music thing just gripped me, and I just never let go of it.
Okay. So you say you moved back to South Carolina. What part of South Carolina you moved back to?
We moved to King Street, South Carolina, which is
King
where I
Street.
was born. Hmm.
Okay, I definitely know about King Street because I'm from South Carolina, so I definitely know.
Okay, what part?
Yeah. A little small town called Saluda that's near Columbia.
I know. I'm in Columbia now, so Salute is right up the street.
Right. So great. So you are an educator, and I always say that we need more black and brown educators for sure. And what stemmed you to be a educator? Was it your writing? Was it the literature that you read, or just was it just a whole diversity of things? That you feel like you can make an impact through education.
Well, if I'm being honest, when I went to college, I majored in biology because my dad. Oh, hey, howdy, neighbor, Corey Daniels.
Yeah.
My
Hey. Hold on. So listen, this is what's so ironic. Corey Daniels is a childhood friend and he's my cousin.
Oh,
Um, so me and Corey have been rocking probably since, oof, I want to say probably 1988. When probably when Big Daddy Kane came out with No Half Stepping, the rap
mm.
song. So yeah, so we've been rocking forever, and so I definitely know him in good company. He said howdy neighbor, so but you go ahead and continue.
I don't even know what I was saying. What was the question?
We was talking about King Street, South Carolina. Then we was talking about what stemmed you to do education. Was it the literature? Was it your creative writing? Or was it just the diversity of making an impact on the community?
No, it was when I went to school, my dad gave me a choice. Like I said, he was a dentist, so his area was science. He said you have a choice. You can major in biology or you can major in chemistry because that's all I'm paying for. So I selected biology, and it took me a while to graduate from school. And when I was in the last, it took me 10 years to get my bachelor's degree. So my last 5 years, I was like, I want to make sure that when I get out of school, I'm able to provide for myself. So I decided to major in biology education. And when I got out, I was a science teacher. So that's how that happened. There wasn't any literature, um, but I did have a science teacher when I was growing up, and I knew that if I ever taught, I just wanted to make my lessons engaging for students because I don't remember any of my science. Well, some of my science classes were, but not all of them were, and I know that that's something I wanted to do. So that's how I became a science teacher. And then I was in the classroom for about 7 years. And then I transitioned I was an instructional technology training specialist. And what that is I worked with teachers at the district level and taught teachers how to integrate technology into their classrooms to engage their students.
Oh wow, oh wow. So that had to be pretty interesting to
Well,
make that transition and to work with the new teachers that's just, passing the state teachers exam and helping them transition. And then, you got to have patience to work with that many type of egos.
oh,
And,
definitely.
and so what was that experience like for you, on a professional level?
It was a wonderful experience. I worked with new teachers as well as teachers who have been in the profession for 40 years plus. I enjoyed working with the older teachers because a lot of them were scared to use different types of technology, and I'm a very patient person. So I used to, sit and work with them, one on one, go through it step by step, and to make sure that they felt comfortable. And with new teachers, a lot of new teachers felt like when they came in, they knew about the new technologies, and a lot of them felt like they know technology. They didn't really need me, but then to show them how they can integrate that into their classrooms and use various applications, programs to help engage their students and also help their students to learn more and be comfortable with technology themselves because it's just important. It was a fantastic job. I loved it. I absolutely loved that job. I worked in Richland School District 1 and I loved every minute of it. But they did close a particular department down. It was instructional technology services. But they let it go a couple years ago. So I'm not sure where their technology is these days, but during those days, we were doing a great job.
Okay, great, great. So with you, teaching the teachers and working with them, how is that transition, from what you hear from the teachers that you was working with? How was that transition from teacher to parent, and what they had to kind of, teach the parents on? Because when you transition from that technology and how technology advanced so much, you know, um, a lot of parents may not be up on the technology unless you're in that technology field. And
No.
so, how was that transition for those teachers to really share that with the parents so they can understand what's getting taught in the classroom?
Well, I'll tell you, one great thing about being in instructional technology services when I was there was our leader, Ida Thompson. We had a bus, a mobile bus. We would do community outreach. We used to have a program, it's not there anymore, called Reading Rocks, where we would invite the community members, students, parents, everybody would come out. We would do classes for the community. We would do classes for parents. We would go to various community centers throughout the district and offer parents classes. I used to do training for parent universities. I used to work in the Lower Richland cluster. So I used to do trainings for parent universities where parents would come to the school and get training so that they could understand the different programs that their students were using so that they could help them at home. So we did a lot of community outreach. Working with teachers and parents was vital to our program. And like I said, it's not in existence anymore, but it was a great program.
Wow, that's really so amazing.
Mhm.
Um, Educational community outreach, which I
Yeah.
think is needed in every school. So, you know, that stems from a whole different level of how you impacting the community, as well as in impacting parenthood and impacting the educational system. So, I think that's so wonderful. And so, you know, um, with you being a teacher, how amazing is it that from what you learned from being a teacher and dealing with, the youth and dealing with the parents, how did that stem from helping you to become this fire actress?
I use all of my experiences with me whenever I'm on set. I went back to the classroom after 12 years at the district level. They closed our department, so I went back to the classroom, and I used to talk to my students all the time about following their dreams and telling them that they can do anything that they put their mind to, as long as they put that work in. That's important. You have to work toward it. If you put the work in and you're consistent, that you can do anything you put your mind to. And my students knew that I was interested in acting. They used to help me with my auditions, like during my planning period. They would help me do my auditions. And in my telling them that they could do whatever they wanted to, I had a student ask me, "Well, Miss Frierson, what about you? You want to be an actress? Are you going to, pursue your dream?" And I decided to make my dream like a lesson, like a life lesson for them, because I still follow my students. My students follow me and they see, I worked. I had to work. I took classes on top of classes on top of classes, and to really learn the craft and learn, research what I needed to do to be, to get into this industry, because it's a lot. And but I really want my students to see that, that they can do that they want to, if they put that work in and put their mind to it, that they can do it. And I'm still in contact with them. I see them, some of them doing some amazing things, in school. They're excelling. I have a student that has his own clothing line. And I remember when I was in the classroom, that was one of the things I did with a group of my students, is showing them how to be entrepreneurs. And one of my students started a clothing line when we were in the 8th grade, but now there's a student, he's got this great clothing line. And I'm glad to see them being successful and following, those things that they want to do. And I hope that I was an example for them, and that I'm still an example for them.
Okay, okay, okay. And it sounds like you was very impactful, and it sounds like that you shared some things with them on how to follow their purpose, and how to commit to their goals, and how to never give up and just stay on course of what you set out to do. So that's wonderful that you can have that in the classroom and see it come come full pass, and like, oh wow, I used to teach that young man, I used to teach that young lady, and look what they're doing now. So that is so wonderful.
Mhm.
So with you, would you say that was you was working on auditions? So in your personal opinion, when it comes to the film industry,
Mhm.
when a person is coming into their own, they really got their headshots, and they took some acting classes, to submit something, for the public, not just for a casting director or film producer, but just to submit it, put some on YouTube. Would you say they should they they should submit a 180 monologue or a 360 monologue.
Well, tell me what a 180 monologue is in comparison to a 360 monologue.
It's just shorter. It's just shorter, really blunt, straight to the point. It's just shorter. I believe the monologue is just about you
Hmm.
as the actor or actress, but the 360 is about you and plus the role play, the feedback, and plus, just reeling the audience in. But I think, I think the 180 is just more about you, your facial expressions, how well you speak, the syllables in your words when you're acting, and stuff like that.
Well, I think it just depends because sometimes you want to put some content out there that's short so that someone can get uh, uh, understand who you are as an actor in a flash. And then sometimes you want to put some stuff that's out there that's longer so they can see a complete body of work. Because if you do a 1 minute monologue, I'm comparing your 180 to a 1 minute and the 380 to say 2 minutes or more. A 1 minute monologue is going to give someone an idea of what you can do, but a 3 minute monologue is going to really give them you be able to a full character. You know what I mean? Not just like well one side, not just a a two-dimensional character. You can give them three dimensions of a character. You know what I'm saying? So just the longer, you'll just get more of a story, and the short one, you'll get just a flash. I think both of them are good. I think if people are doing monologues and putting content out there, it's good to do both. Do both.
Okay, okay, okay. And so your first acting experience was a stage play, correct? Didn't you say a stage play?
Hmm.
Okay, okay. So tell me the diversity of that stage play, and what did that stage play do to really open up your eyes, be like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. I should do more of this.
Oh well, like I said, it was a musical, so there were no words in this particular play, Smokey Joe's Cafe. It was all music of Lieber and Stoller, and but we had scene changes, and we had to act out the songs, and it was just the joy that the audience felt as they were there with us singing along. Like our final song was "Stand by Me." And normally, when we would do that final song, everybody would stand up and everybody was just enjoying themselves. And to look out at the audience and see how much joy we were able to provide, and perform for the people to inspire them and make them feel good for these 2 hours or 2.5 hours. It just inspired me. It's like I want to be able to do that on a big scale, to be able to what I think movies do and TV shows do is it allows people to escape from, let's say that somebody's going through something, they're feeling bad about something. It allows them to escape that for a minute and take them into another world. It allows them to, experience another world for a moment. Like my favorite movies are Marvel movies. And I love them because I can go into the movie theater and it's like I'm a part of this whole Marvel universe for 2 hours, and it's like you forget your troubles for that amount of time. And to be able to do that, I think it's important that everybody has that in their life somewhere, that they find some type of joy somewhere. So as an actress, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to become an actress, so that I can do that for other people on a broader scale. I want to touch the world. I want to inspire and touch the world. And I think as an actress, I'm able to do that.
Okay, okay. And so, are you a creative writer as well?
I have written, I have written a couple of things. I've not written anything that has, well, I did do a 1 minute movie. I was in a competition, a 1 minute film competition that I won the People's Choice Award. So I'm delving into writing more because there's so many stories out there to tell. And I want to be a part of that as well. So I'm delving into it little by little.
Okay, okay, okay. So now you did this stage play and you started auditioning,
Hmm.
and You worked with Michael Keaton. You've been on BMF.
Mm-hmm.
Several other things. What was that experience like working with Michael Keaton?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, because he's somebody that I grew up watching on TV, and to be able to share a space with him and to be able to watch him in his creative space, to watch him as he was getting into character, it was like being in a master class. I'm taking notes in my head, like, oh wow, that acting is really you just really being yourself in a different circumstance. So it was an amazing experience to be able to do that and to be able to work with him one on one. Like I'm looking in his eyes, we're in the scene together, just him and me. And so it was a learning experience for me.
Okay. So let's talk about the process of landing that role. Having a good agent, getting prepared for an audition, and just how to stay in character role, but know when to come out of character role. Because I hear people say sometimes it's hard to come out of character role, and just get back to the human being that you are. So
Right.
if you can touch base on all that for me.
Well, first, yes, you want to make sure that you have a good agent. And to get an agent, you need to have some good headshots. I would always get in class, make sure that you have a reel that shows who you are as an actor. Get that agent, get you a good agent. And then the agents are able to get you auditions that you can't get yourself, which is how I got the audition for this particular show, Dopesick, which was an Emmy Award winning show. Um,
Yes.
so when I auditioned for it, I had auditioned for several different roles on the show. Um, but this one in particular, the one that I booked, Leah Turner, I auditioned for that, and then I got called back in. I got some notes, and I took those notes. And the biggest note that I got was, be more of myself, because the characters are very grounded, which means they're very real life. Sometimes you'll see characters that are big. These characters are very real life characters. So you don't want to do too much. You just really want to be the essence of yourself. So once I got that down and I booked that role, it was like I said, I got this audition from my agent, and I wouldn't have been able to get that audition had I not had an agent. So having a good agent is important. Um, then you said something about what else did you say? You
As
said a lot.
far as far as being in character role, I hear people say it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get out of character role and to just come back down to the human being that you are. You
Yeah.
know, um,
So there are different methods of acting, right? Everything is birthed out of the Stanislavski method. He's called the father of theater, a father of acting. I know I'm not saying it correctly, but everything is built out of that method. So there are actors who use method acting, which is a specific method all in itself. And with method acting, when they get into character, they stay in that character for the duration of their filming. So there was a guy who played the Joker. I don't remember what his name was.
I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about.
His name is Heath Ledger. I believe
Right.
he's a method actor. But staying in that character for so long, sometimes it's hard for them to come out. I've heard of people, method actors, who stay in a character for a long time and they have to go to counseling to get out of it. I am not a method actor. I don't, because I don't think that for me, I use a combination of different methods. And I use my life experiences, or just me, when I'm in a role. You're seeing Arischa for the most part in a different circumstance. For example, I played a role, Apocalypse Ann, on the Apple TV Plus show Swagger, that was loosely based on the life of Kevin Durant. And
Right.
Apocalypse Ann, when I did my audition, I thought about my students, because Apocalypse Ann, she was a street teacher, but she was giving a message to her community. She cared about this community, and she felt like this message she was giving to her community was important. And I thought about myself as a teacher. when I was giving messages to my students, these messages were important, and I needed them to understand that they were wonderful, they were worthy, that they were important and they can be successful. So I just took that experience and I used it when I auditioned for that particular role. Or for Dopesick, Leah Turner was a nurse. She was also the office manager for Dr. Phoenix, who was played by Michael Keaton in The
Right.
Office. I used my experience. I used to work in a medical office in my dad's office during the summers, when I was younger. So I was able to use that. It felt comfortable for me. So method acting, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because everybody has to find what works for them. But I find that most of the time when you hear about people having problems detaching from character, it's because of that particular method that they're using. So you just have to, but you have to find what works for you. You have to find what works for you.
Okay. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more important messages. Stay tuned.
I'm tired of lying, and it's getting plain to see. I done tried hard to deny, but this woman changing me. Might go to the clubs, but I leave kinda early, and I don't drink and drive, but chug and jive, so my woman ain't gotta worry. No. See, I can't be playing with her heart or playing with her mind. We ain't getting no younger, can't play with my time. And I know she miss me and can't wait to kiss me. So I might be invited tonight.
You ain't gotta look for me.
I might be invited tonight. Yeah.
All right, we're back once again. Man, what a great dialogue thus far. So, with you understanding, and learning so much, about the film industry and about being an actress and about becoming a public figure now, so how are those in passing experiences when people see you and recognize you?
I think when I was younger, I believe that our words have power, and you have to be careful what you say and what you speak because our words are powerful. When I was younger, I would always say to myself, because I wanted to be a singer, I would always say that when I grow up and I'm a singer, I want to be like Al Jarreau. Why Al Jarreau? Because Al Jarreau was like an everyday person. He was amazing. He was famous, world famous. But Al Jarreau could walk down the street and go to a grocery store. Nobody would bother him because they probably like, oh, he looks like Al Jarreau, because he was just like that everyday guy. And I think that's how I am. I think I'm just like that everyday person. So I've been in spaces where I'm having conversations with people, and they're talking about different shows, and they might. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a woman. She was a nurse, and we started having a conversation about Dopesick, and she was just talking about how important the messages in the show were for her patients. I was like, well, yeah, I was in that show, and she was like, oh, what character were you? And I was like, I was the nurse, and they was like, oh my gosh, you were the nurse? And they were just in such disbelief because I feel like I'm like a chameleon. Like no one's gonna see me and be like, "Oh, that's the lady who was a nurse from Dopesick," or "Oh, that's the lady who was Apocalypse Dan," or "I remember her from BMF," because I'm like a chameleon in that way. But I enjoy having conversations with people about different projects I've been in, and then when I say, "Oh yeah, I was in that project," well, who were you? I was such and such. That was you? Oh my gosh! I think that's I like that. As a matter of fact, I remember riding on the plane when Dopesick was first released. I was sitting in my seat. I was working in LA, and I was coming back home, and I was sitting in my seat, and the people behind me were talking about Dopesick. I don't know how they knew it was me, but they were like, "That lady," and they were. I can hear them whispering, "The lady in front of her, she was in the show," and I was like, "Oh, it's kind of neat to be recognized. It's not something that I have to have, but what I do like is to know that a show that I was in has impacted people in a positive way. Dopesick has impacted people in a positive way. You know what I mean? People still talk about it. So just knowing that that I was a part of that, a part of impacting people and impacting the world, because that's what I want to do. I want to touch the world, and knowing that I do that through my acting gives me a satisfaction, and it makes me happy.
Right, right. And that's very, 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 very wonderful and amazing. That you can be happy on impacting other people's lives and happy doing what you love to do.
Oh,
So that's amazing. So
definitely.
let's talk about BMF.
Okay.
Auditioning for BMF. I'm landing, a part on BMF, and how was that process of landing that part on BMF and the experience of being on set with BMF? Let's talk about that as well.
Well, of course, like I said, having that agent, you got to have the agent to get the auditions for those roles. And I auditioned for the role. I was so excited, when I learned that I booked it. What was also amazing about that particular episode is that not Charles, oh, what's his name? Hornsby. Oh, he plays the character Charles. Um, but
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, this is his directorial debut. This is his directorial debut. He directed our episode. Um, and so I thought that to be a part of his history, because who knows where he's going to go, after this, after directing this episode. So I was happy to be a part of that. Everyone on set was very nice. Um, I'm thankful to the casting director. His name is George Pierre. I think this is the second thing he booked me in, so I'm thankful for that. But everyone on the process of auditioning, I have various readers that I use. What's his name? Antonio McMillan, who is also an actor, is usually my reader. He read. Look at Russell Hornsby is his name. He plays the character Charles. That was his directorial debut. And just it takes a community of actors for actors to be successful. Like, we can't do it on our own. I have to have somebody read for me. I can't read for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Uh, so getting on to go on set, I was a guest star. So to go on set and to be able to meet everybody, and I didn't. I watched the show because I got an audition for it. It wasn't a show that I had watched before. You get the audition. If it's not a show that you watch, then it's important that you watch it so that you can understand what the feel of the show is. So I watched a couple of episodes. I was like, oh, okay, okay. And then I watched the documentary about the Flannery brothers because, I didn't know their story. I
Right.
didn't, I didn't know about, the Black Mafia family.
Right.
I had no idea. So I watched the documentary, and getting on set and being able to meet Lil Meech, everybody was nice. Lil Meech was nice. I was in my scene with Saweetie, who's a rapper, and she's just as sweet as she could be. And being able to work with Russell Hornsby and the guy who played my son, JD Williams, who was in The Wire. So to me, that's like legendary. You were in The Wire. He was a big character in The Wire, and now I'm with you in this scene, and you're playing my son. And the other guy, Vaughn, who played my other son, who was Carter in the episode who got his finger cut off. I was just elated, overjoyed, and I felt like I was at home. Everybody was very nice, very welcoming, and it's like when you're in a good community of actors, they want you to succeed just as much as you want them to succeed. So it feels like you're in community with each other.
Right. Right.
That's just a great feeling.
Okay, great. Well, I just would say You know, I'm a huge fan of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. You know, and I just like how he stemmed from the music to the acting to the writing. You know, to really open up his new G Unit Films TV studio in Shreveport, Louisiana. 985 square foot, and it's huge. I was looking at pictures the other day. It's huge,
Yeah.
and I always said that I wanted to eventually get into some voiceover work and
Oh
and,
yeah.
and things of that nature. So, but as far as you go,
Yeah, I just want to say, I know you said that, but 50 Cent is doing some big things. And his shows, we were watching, my husband likes to watch Raising Canaan.
yes, yes, yes,
Excellent. And the girl who plays Rock,
yeah, Raquel.
yeah, she's from South Carolina. She's from
Okay,
I think she's from Pageland, South Carolina. I love seeing people from South Carolina doing their thing, and it's great. It's a great show. What 50 Cent is doing and building is amazing.
it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing, and I love it. I love it. So,
Giving us actors opportunities. Thank you, 50 Cent. I appreciate you.
no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So, before we close out, I want you to give me your top 5 favorite male actors and your top 5 favorite female actors.
Oh my goodness.
Actresses, excuse me.
Top 5 male. Samuel L. Jackson. That's
Okay.
my number one. I love him. I
Okay.
think he's amazing. Denzel Washington. Um, Don Cheadle. I think Don Cheadle's just really
Underrated. Very underrated.
great. Oh, Jeffrey Wright.
Yes, yeah, very underrated. Very underrated.
Highly underrated. Number 5. Oh my goodness. There's so many. Oh my goodness, there's so many. Let's say Tom Hanks, because I think he plays himself very well.
Okay. What about top 5 females?
Females, Alfre Woodard.
Okay.
Alfre Woodard you know who that is, right?
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Okay. Alfre Woodard, Viola Davis,
Mhm.
Octavia Spencer, what's her name? Ingenue Ellis. She's amazing. I think she's underrated. I think she's highly underrated. And I'm going to say Taraji Henson, because I feel like she has a heart and a voice for acting, and I think she does a great job.
I was hoping you would throw my girl in there,
Who's your girl?
Angela Bassett.
Oh, Angela Bassett's in there too. She's in there too. It's hard to get. It's hard.
I know.
Because I put Whoopi in there too now. Whoopi Goldberg is an amazing actress.
She is.
She's an amazing actress. She goes from one type to another. She's amazing. Oprah's great too.
Right. So for you, what's next for you?
For me to continue to work on my craft, I am a audiobook narrator. So I'm working on some projects in that realm. One of my goals is to release a jazz CD. I need to get to work on it. That is one of my goals. And to just to continue to work on my craft, work hard, and inspire the world, touch the world. I want to touch the world, inspire the world, bring some happiness and joy into this world where so many days are so gloomy and grim.
All right. So you heard it first. We are on the Chatterbox with King Jacob, and this has been an amazing dialogue. So tell people where they can find you at, where they can follow you at, and give them your website.
Okay, you can follow me right here on Facebook, Arischa Conner. I'm always on Instagram. It's Arischa is a star, but if you just put in Arischa, I'll pop right up. I do have a website, it's arischaconner.com, but Instagram is my main space. Instagram is my thing. So follow me on Instagram.
All right, you heard it first on the Chatterbox, and thanks for tuning in. Peace, love, and happiness, and always remember, there's lessons in our blessings, and let's keep it going.
Amen.